All right, welcome to Youth Central Sports. Coming to you a little late this evening because we were trying to hold out because Vince had a basketball game, and I was hoping that he would be able to come on a little after 11:30. But we're here, which we come to you every Wednesday, right here at www.youthcentralsports.com. I am Charles Morse, and happy to be able to be with you on this evening as we talk about sports. And if this is your first time watching Youth Central Sports, normally I'm here with Vince Carter Sr., as I call him, Coach Carter, and we've been around for a while. Vince moved to Tennessee 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. But we started this back at a radio station a few years ago, where we would be on Friday nights. And Vince worked with a lot of youth. I work with a lot of youth. And so we try to use this forum as a way of not just talking about sports, but what sports mean to us in our culture, how sports can be used in a positive manner as a way of mentoring. But also we like to recognize if it's in the wrong environment, it cannot be a good thing. So with that being said, we like to share our experiences in reference to what sports can be when it pertains to our youth, especially now. I come from a time when the village was so important, how sports can also be used as a village. With that being said, I'm Charles Morris, happy to be with you here on Youth Central Sports. And also make sure that you join me on Mondays for the Journey 2020, and that's been around since 2013. You can join us at www.thejourney2020.com. That's www.thejourney2020.com, and we talk about some of any and everything on the Journey 2020. And also remember, on the third Monday of every month, we're joined by Dr. Kathy Meeks. She is a family counselor and also a sex therapist. And so Dr. Meeks, Kathy Meeks, Miss Meeks, wants to help us to have a a healthy sexual relationship, which is so very important to our culture. So make sure that you tune in every Monday. The third Monday of every month. You can check her out. And we had a very good show yesterday. Monday. So go check out the archives at www.thejourney2020.com. And like I said, we've been around since 2013. The show used to be with Dr. Robinson, a family counselor, psychologist here in the Orlando area. And so we've had on a lot of good guests, a lot of good shows. So make sure that you check us out. Now, for sports for today, the time right now is what's in the news. The College World Series, that's what's going on for those that are into baseball. Also, the NBA draft. I'm sitting here and it says 11 things you need to know, which I didn't get a chance to read that ahead of time. So the 11 things that you need to know. It says, ooh, where did that go? I'm sorry. You do this. It's funny because I was reading on the internet, and I didn't get a chance to read the story, but I can only imagine. It says the Philly mascot injured fan by shooting a hot dog into her face. Okay. Also, the report that came out yesterday was that Dwight Howard was traded from Charlotte to the Brooklyn Nets. And here the headline says the report Hornets locker room hated Howard. You know, Howard has always been kind of like a kid. It was kind of obvious that he didn't go to college. And what I mean by that was he's always been like a little kid. So I think that the time that would have helped him to develop as an adult, he missed going to college. And so he went straight from high school into this world of madness that is part of the NBA. And he's always kind of had like a free carrying spirit, so which is fine. And a lot of people don't understand that spirit. And I think that he's a really nice guy, but for some odd reason, don't know why a lot of people just don't like this guy. I haven't read the article where it says that the Hornets locker room hated him. There's a difference between not liking somebody and hating them, but who knows? And I would like to. I'd also said Winston is bracing for a suspension. Not quite sure what that means. That what Winston is the quarterback for Tampa Bay. So supposedly he's bracing for a suspension. I haven't read that article as well. But those are some of the headlines other than the NBA draft. And there's several mock NBA drafts that's out there. And one of those things that, of course, that is taking place, that's in the headlines, in addition to the talk of the draft that's coming up. But what will the Spurs do with Kawhi Leonard? You know, it's kind of like a tough situation. He wants to go to the Lakers, supposedly, as all the reports have come out. But how do you trade him to the Lakers when the Lakers, in reality, don't have anything in return that they can really give you? That you would go, well, I got one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world, and then I'm trading for what? Him being a difference. Him being, I'm sorry, him being a difference maker, the type of player that he is. I got some water here. I was actually eating some sunflower seeds before the show, and that's what's caught in my throat right now. Sorry about that. Him being a difference maker, one of the top players in the league, actually one of the top players in the world, and then you go to the Lakers. What is it that the Lakers can offer for him? Well, you go, well, I don't know. I don't know how many first-round draft picks they have, but but they will work it out. I mean, they always do. So the Cavs wants to keep Love even if LeBron leaves. So what are your odds are that LeBron is going to stay in Cleveland? They've already said that, and you never know with these guys and what they're going to work out. And so the question is that I wanted to ask you, what you think about what's going on with what they call the super teams now. What they really don't talk about, though, is because that Houston Warrior series was a very good series. Sometimes it was very hard to watch because I don't understand that dribble mentality. And I think that if Houston had a coach that would truly take advantage of the talent that they have, because nobody really talks about the fact that Houston really had a chance to win that series. And for whatever reason, Chris Paul just seems to get injured every year for some odd reason. I don't know why. But he's just injury prone. If he had been in that game, that seventh game, I think there's a very good chance that Houston may have won that game. And then them jacking up all those threes, sometimes that game, those guys is so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. And so with that being said, I don't know about as far as just the Warriors really dominating, even though they have, but they easily could have lost that series. I still think that if Houston had a coach that had a different type of philosophy, because it appears, just watching, Houston matches up very well against Golden State, and it gives them major problems. The problem with Houston is their philosophy and their game plan, because they have the talent to beat Golden State. They proved it. They proved that they can beat that team. And so when they say super teams, yeah, I didn't think that there's anybody in the East that would beat either Houston or Golden State, because I kept saying this is the series now that Golden State and Houston are playing to go to the championship, but this is actually the championship games to watch, because once they get past each other, the actual championship game is going to be what I thought it was going to be, and it was a sweep. So with that being said, as far as the super teams, which started, I think, with LeBron leaving Cleveland, going to Miami, and that wasn't as easy as people made it out to be, because in reality, LeBron has won 3 championships. One he owes to Ray Allen, and the other one he owes to your boy Green, because without that one play with Ray Allen, and without your boy Green getting suspended, all that other stuff, he really would have won, which is great. And then I'm not a LeBron fan, but I don't bash him. It's hard for me because he's a sign of the times, and these guys today and their mentality and their approach and how we treat them, they're no longer athletes, they're rock stars. And so how their approach to life, their approach to themselves, their approach to the sport itself is a sign of our times and who we are and the way we are. And it really sucks. But what can you do? This is the sign of our times, and we make these guys out to be bigger than life. And how they look at themselves is how we look at them. So they act according to how we treat them. Most of us, how most of us treat them. I don't have a problem with LeBron. I have a problem with them being rock stars. When I have a problem with how, and one of the things that we do on this show, as far as myself, when it comes to Vince and myself, the differences in between the two of us is that my approach and my opinions is based on the fact that I think that there's something wrong with our culture when we take a child's game. Let me say this again. When we take a child's game like football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, and volleyball, and soccer, and we make it into this thing that is bigger than life, I think there's something wrong with us when we put it in the forefront of life, and it's a judgment of life, good, bad, or indifferent. So I think there's something seriously wrong with the whole philosophy and where we have placed sports in the meaning and the purpose of what it means to our culture and the lives that we live. So there's something wrong when you idolize these guys, and the true heroes of this world are people like teachers and educators. And somehow or another they're put on a totally different podium than those who are rock stars and athletes and so on and so forth, playing a child's game or acting just because you're on stage. It makes absolutely no sense. So that's really how Youth Central Sports was started, because we were talking about just who we are as a whole and how we put sports in this place that is part of our dysfunction. So with that being said, I think that there's something seriously wrong with our culture and our society when we look at teachers the way that we do, educators the way that we do, firemen the way that we do, police officers the way that we do, when they are the ones who have real jobs, who mold and shape, educators mold and shape this country with the many lives that they touch and the importance that they have. But that's not who we are, and that's not how we treat them or even talk about them. The millions of dollars that we pay these guys, and I'm not anything of being jealous, I just think it's just crazy to play a child's game. And of our attitude towards a child's game, I think that there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the game. There's nothing wrong with us cheering and jumping up and down and being excited, but there's something wrong. There's something wrong. But with that being said, I have the LeBron thing. Vince and I talk about it all the time, and how he came into the league. They gave him something that he had not earned, like King James. The comparison that they try to make to him to Michael Jordan, I think is comical. It really is. The game has changed so much, it have taken many steps backwards. The athletes are great athletes. They're tremendous athletes. Their skill level, to some degree, is great. But the game itself has changed, not for the better. The game has changed for the worse. It's hard to watch sometimes. The way they play this game, the rules, and it just goes back to them trying to make it a fan-friendly game, that they've taken the game itself and just kind of made it like it's the Harlem Globetrotters. It's a joke. And it's just really driven by money, entertainment, not the game itself, just entertainment. So the entertainment part of it has superseded the actual sport part of it. So they play it, but the rules and how they play it, you can't go anywhere else on earth and play that game the way they play it, because it's not played that way. It's just not. Just kind of like football and what they've done when it comes to where you can't touch the wide receivers, you can't touch the quarterback, you can't do this, because it's all fan friendly. It's all about them making the money. So when you want to compete and you want to talk about sports and watch sports where it's competition, is it competition the way it is now? Or if it's competition in the sense that you made it so much for the fans as far as entertainment, you've taken away the essence of the competition. And that's what that's the problem I have with the NBA. And also in this era in which they're playing, because I think it's stupid to compare Michael to LeBron. There's no comparison to those two guys. They're two totally type of different. And the game is so different. The game suck. It really suck. And my hat goes off to LeBron, finally, which you don't ever want to see any athlete fail. And I've always wanted this guy to do well. I always wanted to see him play well. But sometimes watching him was hard, because some of the things he would do, his approach to the game. But now he has matured and finally becoming that player that when he came into the league, what they handed to him. He's finally that player where you go, oh, okay, now you enjoy watching him play, because there was times when he was playing, even in Cleveland and in Miami, where you was watching this guy, and sometimes all you can do is just shake your head with some of the mental breakdowns he would have. Kobe used to do that too. Kobe didn't have some mental breakdown, but it's totally different. You know, Kobe was just more, I think, competitive. Michael was he just put a stake in your heart. Just period. You know, he just, you know, he just struck fear in the guy, just like Mike Tyson walking into the ring. That Michael was the same way. It's just like guys didn't look forward to playing against Michael. You know. But his approach and his aura when he stepped on the court was just different. And so it's nothing to be taken away from LeBron. I just think it's a stupid comparison, but that's what we do. So that'll always be, but it's just not fair to Michael. It's not fair to LeBron to try to compare the two, because the approach to the game is different. How they impact the game is different. And when LeBron finally came into his own was that year when they were down 3-1 against Golden State, and he finally started playing like that player that you've been wanting him to be since he came into the league. And now he has finally reached that place where you go like, oh, okay, man, I've been waiting on this for a long time. Been waiting on you, because you don't want to see this guy fail, because he's a nice guy, but he's part of this generation where they're arrogant, they're self-centered, they truly believe they're rock stars, and that's just how they are. You know, that's just how they are, and you just shake your head sometimes. But I think he's a really nice guy. Kevin Durant is another one that it's hard to respect this guy. It's not that you don't, it's not like you dislike the guy, but when you because now the way that they look at themselves, how they approach the game, how they approach life is totally different. And so with that being said, it sucks. It sucks because this generation versus the generation from which I came from, it was about the competition. This generation is about media, highlight, fame, fortune. I'm a rock star. Look at me. I'm on Twitter. Look at me. I got something to say. Look at me. I break ankles. I into the camera. So that's the generation that's the way it is now. But when you come from a generation of competition, you can't imagine a team that just beat you, that just won 73 games, and you decided to go join them, that you had down 3-1, and you said, I want to go play with these guys. Mind you, 2 years in a row, and this is what I mean by the competition. If you go back and look at the video, in crunch time, with you supposedly being the man, you could not deliver. In crunch time, you either missed shots, you threw the ball away, or you just didn't deliver. It was all on you. You didn't deliver. You was up 3-1 and you didn't deliver. 2 years in a row, you folded, and you supposed to be the man, and you folded. You had a team that's good enough to win, but you folded. There's other factors, yeah, but you couldn't deliver. So it's kind of like, you know what? I'm going over here. I got my master's degree. See my papers? I got my degree, but see the degree in the paper you're showing doesn't show how many basket weaving classes you took to get your master's. But you got it. Ain't nobody gonna go back and look at how many basket weaving classes you had to take or you took because you chose to take basket weaving. But see, this generation don't care. As a matter of fact, this generation would say, you know what, the more basket weaving classes that I can get away with to get my degree, better for me. But when you come from a generation that says this is about competition, not about the highlights and the rings in the sense to say that, well, I got my ring because over here where I was supposed to be the man and I didn't deliver, over here I can just go over here and take some basket weaving classes and get my degree. But that's this generation. The other generation is about competition. The competition. Not this generation. Don't have a clue. Look at me, look at me, look at me, and I got something to say on Twitter. You don't knock him, but you can't give him the respect you would like to give him. You know, you see this guy with this skill level, you see all the things he can do, and you want to respect him to the degree where you just look like this right here and you just shake your head. Because it sucks. So with that being said, it's just like Kevin Durant has won 2 championships. But it's hard to respect him. Not that he needs my respect and not that I dislike this guy. But when you understand competition and what competition is and what it's supposed to be, you just look at him like he's just a sign of the times. And then when you go talk to them, they have no idea what you're talking about. It's just like me as a person of color, and I'll give you a perfect example. As a person of color, you sit there and you talk to these young people today about our history and our struggle and what it took, people in the sacrifices, and they look at you like you're crazy. They have no idea. They just think that all of a sudden the freedom, supposedly, that it's always been here. So it's just like when you go talk to Kevin Durant about competition and what he looking at you like, what, man? Rings, man. Rings. And you just look at him like, but you had a chance to do your thing over here and you didn't deliver. When it's supposed to have been the competition, when it was you, when you're supposed to have been the man, when you're supposed to have been about what it's supposed to be to play this game, to take this team to another level. You folded. You threw the ball away. You missed shots. You didn't execute. You failed. And that's what he did. On a team that should have won. And he's the main guy. And he failed. So let me go over here and take some basket weaving classes so I can get my degree. It's about the competition. Nah, man. I don't want the competition. What I want is my ring. Okay. It's kind of like, in actuality, it's really no different than there's a guy on the end. He's like the 11th and 12th guy. He got his ring too. He got his ring too. Same. But we know who you are. We just don't know his name. There's a few guys on that bench got a couple of rings. We don't know their names. But in actuality, it's kind of the same thing. They can wear it. They talk about their ring. Hey, man, I got my ring. See, I was on the team. I got the ring. Yeah, Kevin, you played, but you still took some basket weaving classes. But you got your ring. But when you understand competition and you understand what it means, This generation has no idea. And it's just like trying to talk to this generation about the struggle. They know nothing about the struggle. They don't have a clue. Don't even want to know. Ain't trying to know. Same. Same. Anyway, get your rings, man. No respect. Get your rings. No respect. Get your rings. I don't know. I'm funny when it comes to sports. We were taught to be competitive. We were taught to compete. And I don't know how else you go about it. There's been plenty of players that I respect in this game that never won a championship. Lots of them. I respect Charles Barkley because I understand that he was only about 6'4", but he played like he was about 6'8", 6'9". And there's one player, there's lots of players that I admire that played this game and that was great. Really good players. I like Allen Iverson. I really do. But Allen Iverson lost me when he got up there and he talked about practice. Practice, man, practice. I guarantee you, who would have never had that type of conversation is somebody like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, because they all understood it starts at practice. You excel in practice. That's where you make it work, in practice. They would have never had that conversation. That's why they're champions. And you will be known only as, you was a good player, man. You were a good player. I like Allen Iverson, but when you don't understand it starts at practice, you don't wear rings. It's about the competition and knowing how to win, because there's a lot of them that can play the game that's gone through this league and the NBA, NFL, so on and so forth. They can play, but they don't know how to win the game. They don't know how to win. There's a big difference, a really big difference. And so with that being said, I don't know. It seems to be bigger than life, but sports is a wonderful thing. Sports is life. It teaches you a lot. You have to be disciplined. You also have to learn how to be humble, because it will humble you, and especially if it's a team sport. It's different than when you go one-on-one in like boxing and martial arts, tennis, golf, when it's really just you. The mindset, the approach is different. But when you have to rely on others to do their job, and when they don't, what do you do and how you respond when somebody missed their assignment and it costs you everything in the sense of the win. You learn so much about teammates doing your part, because it sticks with you for the rest of your life. Trust me. I know what happened when I missed a rebound one time and what it cost us. I know what happened when I missed a free throw and it cost us. But I also know what happened when I did get the rebound. I know what happened when I did make the free throw, because I've done both. I made them and I missed them. So I made free throws to win the game, and I missed a free throw to win the game. So hey, so with that being said, it's certain things, you can win, but it's the losses that stay with you more so than the wins. I'm telling you. And that's the truth. The losses is what stays with you longer and that you deal with more so than the wins. Because there's always that one loss you'd be like, man, we should have won that game. And let me tell you why. So with that being said, there was quite a few things I wanted to go over. The show is going to be short tonight. I came on, I was hoping that Vince would come on. I started the show late, hoping that would give Vince enough time to come on tonight. But he said they played 2 games. He didn't know what time they were going to be back. And so I was trying to hold on until he, got back into, that he was able to get back and come on the show. So I'm going to tell him how much that, we missed him. But, the draft is coming up. And, they have the mock draft. The guy out of Arizona, I was reading that they were talking about Kevin Love. And you know what, I got a feeling that LeBron is gone, unfortunately. I would like for him to have stayed in Cleveland because he means so much to that city. I mean, forget the basketball. What he means to the city, what he brings to the table when it comes to the economy, the lives that he affects, so on and so forth. It would be great if he stayed in Cleveland. I think that would be a great place for him. But these guys are so different. I don't know. So it's not my life. It's not my choice. It's not my decision. My opinion don't count whatsoever. So that's why, as I talk about LeBron James, I think he's a nice guy, but he's just part of our times. Kevin Durant, he's a part of our times. And with that being said, I don't know. Those guys are just so different now. Well, so I'm reading the headlines. I wanted to read a story about the mascot that hit the fan in the face. Fan injured after being struck by a hot dog. Okay, the Philadelphia fan has suffered one of the strangest injuries in recent memory. In Monday's game at St. Louis Cardinal, Kathy McVeigh was hit in the face by a hot dog fired. Oh my goodness. In between innings, the mascot shot hot dogs into the crowd. One was fired in the direction of who explained what happened next. Next thing I know, he shot it in the direction and bam, it hit me like a ton of bricks. My glasses flew. Wow. But Tony, almost is going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to be down. It's going to go down the side of my face because it's a previous. Oh, okay. Well, at least she has a good attitude towards it. She's laughing. It gives people a good laugh and it makes somebody chuckle. Then that's fine. She said the Phillies have reached out and offered tickets to the late game. Hopefully her injury heals and she's back in the short order. In the meantime, hopefully the hot dog will be shot with more of an arc in the near future. At least she has a good attitude about it. She has a shoulder injury, and that kept her from actually, I guess, moving or blocking the hot dog. So blocking the hot dog. So that's a cute story. At least she got a good attitude about it. She ain't talking about trying to sue and all this other stuff. So good for her. The hatred. Okay, Cavs want to keep Kevin Love even if LeBron James leaves. That's the story for the majority of the tenure with Kevin Love is a very good player. But this league has changed so much, and I laugh, and it is so funny because knowing this game the way that I know it, and knowing how it used to be before this game became so crazy, we're living in a time and a day where Kevin Love is playing center. Let me repeat that. We're living in a time and a day where Kevin Love for Cleveland is playing center. And I try to say, can you imagine Kevin Love playing center against any of the guys that played center that I grew up watching? What this game has come to. It's laughable. It's a joke. I don't know. But anyway, next week, Vince will be back with us, and we're hoping that you will be back with us as well. And with all of that is being said and talked about, let me see if I can find what I'm looking for here. This is what I need right here. Okay. This is what we need. All right. Let me do this like that. All right. There we go. Okay. Well, we're going to cut this show short tonight. And Mr. Vince Carter is going to be with us next week for sure. We will know who was whom as far as, we already know who's going number one in the draft. We already know that. But maybe by next week we will know what LeBron James is going to do as far as whether or not he's going to remain in Cleveland or if he's going to go to the Lakers along with Kawhi Leonard. That should be an interesting team. What's happening with that. And let me see. Next week, we're only a few weeks away because starting in August, football season starts. So, it doesn't take long. So, and that's the only thing. The summer is so slow when it comes to sports. We have baseball, and I love October. October is my favorite month, but only because I love playoff when it comes to baseball. I love watching the World Series. I don't watch baseball in the regular season, but I do watch it come playoff times. I really, 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 really get into it. Also wanted to talk with Vince about Tiger Woods, man. I don't know if Tiger's ever going to win another major. And when I hear some of the stories, because I've heard several stories about Tiger, several. And the stories that I've heard is more about Tiger needing to humble himself. And the more of the stories that I've heard and I'm watching, it's like there's nothing more humbling than what he has had to go through in order for him to help himself. Because life is not golf. Golf is just part of life. And golf has brought so much to him. But when it places you in a place in which, if some of those stories that I've heard is true, the same arrogance, the same thing that brought you to the high of the high is also the same thing that has brought you to the low of low. And that's how life is. And I think that Tiger's a nice guy, but I also think that there's some things in which life had to teach Tiger in order for him to kind of put his feet on the ground. I think it's more important for me to him that he learns certain things, the lessons, that can help him be a better person than being a better golfer. So with that being said, I just hope that there's, with life coming life experiences, and wish him the best. But who am I, right? Next week we will know more about the NBA draft. Maybe we will know more about Kawhi Leonard. I live here in Orlando. I know that for weeks they were talking about Trae Young coming here, but I see now that Trae Young somehow or another have moved from the 6th spot, maybe down to 10th, 11th, or 12th. So I'm not quite sure what has happened, and I haven't been listening to hear it looks like the Magic is showing Dwight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be his 6th NBA team. Dwight Howard. This is the 6th NBA team going to the Nets. They were just showing it on ESPN. But gosh, I forgot what I was saying. Why? How Trae Young has moved from 6. They had him coming to the Magic. Now he's somewhere around 10th, 11th in the pick. And they were looking at the center, I think, from Texas coming to Orlando. I think he's like 7 feet tall. But looking at the mock draft, and that's one of those things where you just never really know what's going place. You pretty much 1, 2, and 3, you know. Pretty much, they're usually pretty accurate on 1, 2, and 3. Probably like the top 5. You know, they're pretty accurate on that. But hey, you know, I mean, it's like you never know. But we will have that for you, the draft. We will have more, hopefully, on Kawhi Leonard. We will have more, hopefully, on LeBron James. Some updates on the NFL. By then, the College World Series, and we'll have that for you as well. And with that being said, and also, you know, every week we give an update on Vince and his surgery, right? Because he had surgery back in February, and he was here, and he actually said he's coming back to town. So hopefully he'll be sitting right across from me in the month of July. So the month is coming to an end. The show is coming to an end. We will be back next week. Vince will be that side of me. Yep. Usually he's over there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Usually he's over there. With that being said, I'm Charles Morse. You enjoy the rest of your week. You be blessed.